We've all had this scenario. You get a lead booked in your diary, and on the crunch day, people don't show up. This is annoying. It frustrates you. I'm going to explain in this podcast why this happens, how to fix it, and why not all of those people who are no-showing are time wasters. So you get those leads in your diary. I've had them, you've had them. You book that call, and you're excited that this could be an opportunity. And then literally you hear nothing from the prospect. They don't show up to the link. Nothing happens. That you've given them time in your diary and they just don't show up. I find it really rude and it gets me annoyed. And it makes me think, I'm not going to book a call with you ever again. But if I was to live by that, I'd actually be a hypocrite because I've done this too. Life got in the way, a busy day, I lost track of time. All of these things happen that sometimes I miss calls. We've never operated as a society, as individuals, where our time is so stretched. We've never had this scenario where literally we could think about it. It's crazy. Back-to-back calls sometimes people have. So I've made this mistake. I get annoyed when people do it to me, but I've done it to other people. So I'm a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite because you've done it too, right? But I want to walk through why this happens and some simple things you can put in place that actually will fix it. It's not true that everybody who no-shows equals a bad client, and so you've dodged a bullet. It's not true that that's the case. Sometimes shit happens, and I know I have gone on to buy from people where I've missed a call, and it's been no reason other than chaos. And I want to walk through why sometimes people do kind of skip these calls. Why do they drop it? Why does it happen? So I'm going to go through them one by one. And as I go through them, you'll notice really quickly things you can put in place that actually will stop this loss, stop this calls dropping. Now, you might think about it like this. If you're already getting leads, let's say you're getting 20 leads a month. Yeah. And every coach, expert, and consultant can get 20 leads a month. Everyone, right? It's not hard if you've got real focus. If you've not got the focus, you need to watch my 5 1s episode because that really zeroes in on what you need to do to get those leads consistently. But everybody can get 20 leads a month. So 20 leads a month, you've got to get them into calls. So again, that's another episode. How do we get more of our leads onto calls? And we'll talk about that in another episode. But if I'm getting, say, 10 calls booked and 40% of them or 50% of them are no-shows, right? 50%. That means 5 potential clients are falling through the cracks. Now, will they all convert? Probably not. But if I'm losing 50% of my leads because of no-shows, I have to go out and get more leads to fill that gap. And if I don't fix the reasons I can control, the ones that are in my power to fix to improve that show-up rate, guess what? I'm going to replicate that problem again. So if I get 10 calls booked right now and 5 of them are no-shows, and then I have to go and get another 10 leads to get another 5 no-shows, I'm working harder to achieve the result. So it makes sense to have a tight ship when it comes to ensuring you get show-up rates. You can't control every person showing up, but you can do your damnedest to make sure that you don't contribute to the reasons why people no-show. So let's look at a few reasons why people no-show. Number 1, the lead wasn't high intent. Now, this is very, very common for many experts and coaches and consultants that they're gathering leads with no intent. Their activity is generating interest and people are signing up for their email list, signing up for what they're doing, but they're not signing up. The reason why they're signing up isn't aligned. So I see this a lot with people doing webinars, and I'll give you an example. 5 tips to improve your LinkedIn profile. That means somebody wants to improve their LinkedIn profile, but it doesn't tell me they have any intent. So I could capture a whole load of leads, but they won't convert very well because they're just learning information. If I did how to get more leads from your LinkedIn profile, I know 2 things. 1, I know I know they're interested in their profile, and I know they want more leads, a bit more intent. They will be easier to convert. So the intent piece is really important. Now, here's what I found with kind of calendar booking links. And I've had this debate for years, and we have an approach to this now. When our business is quiet and we want to drum up more business, we will make booking calls easy. So we will lower the intent. So we'll say if you want a profile audit or something quite broad, because we just want to talk to more people. Because, out of that, we might get, 70% of them are not going to convert, but we get more conversations because we've lowered the intent threshold. And so we'll do something more relaxed. Then other times when we're really busy, we're always marketing, always filling our pipeline. But when we're really busy and we don't have a lot of time, we will raise the threshold, and we will either do an email to drive calls where it's saying, like, if you want to build a pipeline for your business, if you want to get more leads, if you want to convert more conversations, book a call. So the intent threshold is higher. So when we're quiet, we make it easy to book a call. And no-shows go up, much higher no-shows. When it's more focused and more tight, we increase the threshold so people know that they're coming for a bit of specific reason. And so think about it like this. If you use, say, Calendly link, you can have a discovery call or a profile audit call where it's literally booking a call to have a profile audit. And you'll get lots more calls, but you'll have to do a bit more work on the call to actually convert anybody. And no-shows will be high. If we're busy or you're busy, ask some qualifying questions in the calendar link, and it will show where people are at. Don't ask them if they're ready to buy your program, yes or no, because that's presumptuous and too far. But a few questions to ask them about where they're at will show how serious they are at solving the problem. So I had a conversation with a client a few years ago, and they were asking so many questions, 6 or 7 qualifying questions, including about their finances. And I said they were getting, when they did get a call, they were very, very good and they did convert, like 70% conversion. The issue was they couldn't get the call volume because the qualifying questions were so high threshold. So they were too high. It felt like somebody was committing to buying something by filling in the questions. And likewise, having it open-ended will get any old soul. And so the reason your no-show rate will go up is the fact of the seriousness of the buyer, the qualification of the buyer, of the person. So don't think about, oh, I want it really high or really low. Think about it, how you use that at various times. Your serious people will have a higher show rate because they've invested more time in this and it shows they've thought it through. Whereas your open-ended ones will actually have, I can book a call. It'll be far more impulse driven and it will be far more instinctive. And so you will get a higher no-show because actually a lot of those people are just caught up in the moment and going, yeah, I'll do that. And then when it comes to the crunch, they're not feeling motivated and it drops off. So higher intent, higher show-up rate, better conversion. So improve your qualifying questions, maybe even just one to get going. Just improve one qualifying question. It could be something like, are you looking to solve this problem in the next 6 months? Or it could be, what have you tried to resolve this already? It just asks something of the person asking and getting your time, and it will help you improve your no-show rate. So the intent of the lead, how you're capturing the lead, how you're driving the lead to the call, and qualifying questions actually improves the no-show and gives you better quality calls. But what I would say is if you're capturing leads with no intent, the call volume is going to be very difficult. So qualifying questions and intent at the front end of your lead generation will improve your call show-up rate. Second, your booking page, however they booked that call, doesn't set any expectations. So by that I mean, you've just given people a link to book 30 minutes. You need to give people an outline of what this call's about, what they're going to gain from it, what the opportunity is. So that could be in the email before it, where they click the link, or it could be a video that you send to people. But people need to know, or description on the page where they book, there needs to be some form of qualifier there or so that they understand what they're getting themselves into. I know that sounds really strange, but if you call it, there's nothing there, they will interpret it, and they could interpret it as optional. So set the expectations of what the value of the call is, why it's going to matter for them, the reason why they should show up. And this is really important, people will forget why they signed up. So having that description and setting the expectations and having those expectations in your calendar description so that people can really get a sense of, this is not just, I'll go show up and see what happens, or they'll join the dots of what's going to happen. Set expectations of what they're going to gain from the call. People will not come on a call just to find out more. They won't come on a call just, to see if this works. They need to know, you need to spell it out. Why are they coming on this call? What's the difference going to be for them? People will not come on a call just to find out about your program. They want to find out about a result or a problem or an outcome. So make it clear what the expectations are, what they're going to gain from that call, what's going to happen, so that it really does qualify people in terms of, I want to go forward with this call. Third one, and this is the biggie, and I'm going to deal with this in two parts. Reminder system. I use Calendly, and Calendly has its own reminders. In fact, that reminds me I need to update my reminders because I've just changed my Calendly. Not having a reminder system in place, we think we're booking calls with grown adults. They've got calendars. They should know better. And it's true. But we are overwhelmed, overworked, and got a million things on our plates. And so having a reminder system in place will reduce the risk that somebody just drops the ball. I've had this, and I've done this terribly to admit it, but I've gone, I've got 10 minutes before my next call. I'll start doing something, and then something will happen, take my focus away, and before you know it, I've missed the call. So it's really easy to have done. So that reminder system, just cementing, I've got a call, I've got a call, I've got a call, I've got a call, I've got a call. That's the first bit. But the second part of this reminder piece is reminding them why they booked the call, what's in it for them. And I mentioned this in the last point, but using the reminders to bang that drum so that they go, this is not just another call I'm going to sit on and go, I could be doing something else. If somebody's really, really busy, right, really, really busy, and they've got a lack of time to do something, and your call's there, and let's be honest, they might have booked that call 3 days ago. And they go, I've got this to do. On the day or on the day before or whatever schedule, they will be weighing up the day-to-day pressures they have against your call to go, can I get that 30 minutes back to solve this issue? And so in that moment, they have to make this or that decision. Your reminder strategy should be thinking about helping them make the right choice about this or that decision. So assume your audience will have something else competing for their attention for that 30 minutes they've allocated for you. Something else. Has your reminder strategy given them a way for your meeting to win that argument? Would your meeting win that argument? And are you reminding them why it should win that argument? Assume they are going to have a competing agenda. Assume they're double booked and they have to make a choice. What would you put in your reminders to help them make the choice to stick with your appointment? So that reminder strategy is not just about sending reminders. It's about realizing that somebody else is going to try and take that time from you. Something else is going to take that time from you. And if the reminders aren't strong enough, people will make the choice of going, let's solve the problem that's immediate here and do that instead. So reminder systems, people forget, yes, reminders, but people forget why this is important and then prioritize something else. So it's 2 steps there. Fourth one, when people book that call, if you're calling it a discovery call, what does that mean? 2 days later, what does that mean? So why don't you change your name of the call to an outcome call? Change the name of the call. It might seem a bit cheesy, it might seem a bit icky, but change the name of the call. Totally change the name of the call. It will make sure that people are booking a call for the right reasons. It will make sure that people know what the trajectory of the call is. And when they see that name of that call in their diary, they'll go, oh, I remember that. So the name of the call can make a huge difference between them seeing discovery call, intro call, Dean and Tim versus building a 2K business on LinkedIn. I'll consider whether I should go to that call more than an intro call, which I could move. So this is all psychology, but you think about it and go, oh my God, if I just change the name of the call, I could increase my call show up rate. Massive. So if the call name is vague, and I have to follow this advice too, because I've just built a couple of Calendly's where it's intro call. My main sales one isn't, but this one is the intro call. So you have to think like somebody is time poor and triaging. They have to see the information, and the name of the call is one of the biggest ones you can change. Number 4, and this is a good one, and most people don't get this, the gap between the call and the booking is too long. And, if you've got a really busy calendar, I would encourage you that what you need to do is block time in your diary that's left free purposely so that people can book calls with you quickly. You don't want the momentum to run away. Imagine somebody goes to your Calendly and the next time they can book a call is a week's time. What happens in a week? They could have all sorts of things going on in a week. They could meet your competitor in a week. So if they're really focused on something right now, you want to speak to them as quickly as possible. So prioritizing slots in your diary that are protected to do calls quickly is critical. Yeah. You need slots in your diary to have calls with potential customers, and they may not be, and you may not want them for your own benefit. You may not want them to happen 2 weeks down the line. That might be where your calendar's organized right now, but you need to have it available, I would say, within 72 hours. Within 72 hours, there is availability for your prospects, because that's how people, otherwise all the momentum goes out of the opportunity. They could be speaking to other people beforehand. And atypically, if somebody's looking to move on something and they book a call from your Calendly link, they will close with usually atypically the first person they speak to. So if they're hunting around for a mindset coach and they can't talk to you for 2 weeks, you've already lost. You've already lost. So try and create that space so that within 72 hours, there are options for people to have a call with you. If it's too long, the momentum goes. They could be talking to other people. It could get cancelled because the reason gets lost in there. All of that stuff can happen. So stuff gets in the way if you leave it too long. And then we have talked about this a little bit more, but I just want to expand on this because it is kind of critical here. Initially, when you get going, you want to have your Calendly open to as many people as possible. If you're starting out and you're reliant on referrals, you need to talk to a lot of people to spot the common patterns, validate your ideas, get comfortable having conversations with people. If you've never had, I know a lot of people where they've only sold to people they know or people who've come from recommendation. You need to get over the weirdness of having calls with people who have, not been referred to you and not been pre-sold to you. So it makes sense to have your calendar open for a while. Open it up, let people book. Don't get resentful that you've wasted time. You've not wasted time. You've actually allowed people to help you. You've got market feedback. If you're recording those calls, you can use those transcripts to actually help you refine your content based on what people are telling you. Don't think that having an open calendar is a terrible mistake. It might actually be the best thing for you initially. But as you get busier, as you start to understand the key things your clients are saying to you, you tighten up the calendar. So more qualifying questions in the calendar. But initially, don't put too many in. Just get calls and see how it goes. And again, when it's quiet, open it up. When it's busy, tighten it up. But don't make it so that people have to go, I'm ready to give you my money to get a call with you, because that's too high. So having a pre-qualification step can really help. And I want to just give you a couple of other practical tips. Now, I've just built my new Calendly system because I'm refocusing my target audience. And I found this works really well, but I've not got it up and running in my new system yet, is after somebody books, don't just send empty reminders. Think about what could you be sending that obviously keeps them reminded of the reason of the call, but helps you pre-sell. So things like, and I've seen this done brilliantly with some other people as well, sending testimonials. Yeah, sending a couple of testimonials in those reminders. I've seen one person done a really brilliant video where they said, this is what we're going to go through, and explains that what's on the call, and kind of softens up and says, look, I will share about my program, how it helps. You can read up on some information beforehand if you want. If it's not a fit, that's absolutely fine. We'll just talk about what you want to achieve and your reason for coming to the call. But if it's a fit, we can look at it further. And so you can use those reminders and stages to actually help people build confidence in what you're doing before you get to the call. And it takes some thought process. And this is where many people fall down. The 5 Whys really exposes this. If you don't know what you're selling, or you haven't decided what you're going to market to sell, you can't actually do those reminders very well. Because let's say, for an example, you can solve 3 or 4 different problems and you've got 3 or 4 different solutions to a client. How do you send useful reminders and explainers of your program and how you work and all that kind of stuff when you haven't settled on what you're trying to sell them, and how you're trying to help them? So then you end up with, I have to do very clinical reminders. And so most people think that actually, by not focusing on a target audience, by not focusing on selling one thing, I actually get more opportunity. But what it does is that lack of focus on your part actually seeps into every aspect of your business. So your calendar reminders, you can't send videos focused on explaining a program because, well, they might not want that program. They might want this program. They might want this program. And I've seen people go through, I've got 7 programs, and I'm like, oh my God, how the hell do you have the mental bandwidth to sell those? And they go, well, I'm not selling any of them. It's actually because they can't focus on any of them. They're doing 5% on everything, and it's all crumbling down. Whereas what I've just done, I've focused all of my LinkedIn right now, all of my marketing on helping coaches, experts, and consultants build a $250,000 business on LinkedIn. And that's what I'm focused on for the next 6-7 months. Could I help other people? Could I help other groups? Yes. Will I probably pick up other groups and other opportunities? Yes. But it will be them inquiring. It won't be me trying to cater for them, because my conversion rate, my show up rate, everything improves when all of my message, all of my offer, everything's aligned. But you can see quite clearly here, if I don't lock that down, I can't educate the prospects in the calendar reminders very well because it's vague and generic, and I'll try and do it so it works for lots of different personas. How do you say this, have a good message for both a marketing manager of a 1,000-person company and a coach, a solopreneur coach at the same time? You can't. And so if I tried to do that, my no-show rate might go up even higher because I'm not focused. And this is like an infection of the expert industry of, because I'm so skilled in so different areas, because I know I can help different people with the same problem, they end up where their message doesn't resonate and it all falls flat. Or the sales job becomes harder. The marketing job becomes harder. They have to get more aggressive with it, and it all crumbles down. So, reminder, high intent leads will have a higher show up rate. So you have to capture them. And then when you book your calls, be careful and be strategic in how you use open calendar invites or high intent calendar invites. So high intent leads become very important. The booking page needs to set expectations. You need a reminder system in place, not only for showing up, but a reminder of why they should show up, why they should prioritize your call. Change the name of the call to something more impactful, something more outcome centric. The gap, get the calls in faster. so that you don't lose as much momentum. And then fundamentally, if you're focused, you can actually qualify people better. You can make it more relevant, and all of that stuff starts to work out. So they're my 5 reasons why people don't show up, and the 5 hows of how you fix it. Go and do these, because it's better for you. It's more strategically better for you to get more of the leads you're already getting on calls and getting them showing up on calls than go out and get more and more and more leads. Fix the leaky calendar. Fix the leaky calendar. Don't just try and put more people into the leaky calendar.